Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I have some great DIYs in store for you today that I'm very excited about. So we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to jump right on in.
And today I am bringing you 5 DIYs that are super easy and affordable for you to be able to do at home with your children. Or if you're like my mom and enjoy coloring and crafting yourself, go ahead and do it yourself. So for this first DIY, you're going to need a flat canvas that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I did get the larger one that is 11 by 14. You're going to need some colored construction paper. I picked up this pack from Dollar General for $3. Or if you have some on hand, just make sure you have multiple colors. And then I picked up a pack of cotton balls from the Dollar General and these cotton swabs from the Dollar Tree. They were both only $1. You are going to need some form of glue, scissors, and a stapler to do this project as well. And I did decide at the last minute to go ahead and paint my canvas. So you will need paint and a paintbrush if your child is wanting to do this or if you're wanting to do this. I just wanted it to be a very light blue color. Once you have your canvas painted, just go ahead and set it to dry and we will start cutting our construction paper. I am using a sheet in red, yellow, orange, green, blue, and purple to try and make it look like a rainbow. And then I'm going to take my ruler, and I don't want it to be the full width of a ruler, so I am just lining the edges up where you see the ends of those inches or centimeters meet, and then I'm going to draw it off and cut from there. If your child is doing this, number one, please make sure you're using child safety scissors. And number two, they can just cut it whatever width they would like. Let them have fun with it. One end of your strips will be stapled all the same length, and the other end you will scatter them like you just seen me do there. Cut them off so that way the stapler can reach, and then staple it so that way they all connect. That second side does have to be scattered so that way it will have the rainbow effect. And the first set of strips you saw me cut from the short end of paper. Well, the second rainbow, we want it to be a little bit larger, so we're going to cut it from the long end of the paper. And if you are doing this with a young child, this would be a really good step that you could already have pre-done, pre-made, and just help them put it all together and do all the final steps. If you're doing this with an older child or doing it for yourself, then definitely let them have fun with this part. Once we have our little rainbows created, you are going to want to glue them where you would like on your canvas. For the sake of time of this video, I am using a hot glue gun. Please make sure that you are safe on deciding what glue you are going to let your child use. If you are doing this with a young child, they should probably use Elmer's glue. If you are doing this with an older child and you feel safe or let them use hot glue, then go ahead and let them. Then you're going to take some of the cotton balls. You're going to fluff them out. We want them to be a little bit wider. And we are going to glue them to the bottom of the rainbow base on both sides. We don't want you to see the ends of our rainbow. We want it to look like they're coming from the clouds. So I am using hot glue on this first one. I'm fluffing out the cotton balls and I'm just gluing them in place so that way we can't see any part of the end of this rainbow. Once I have the first rainbow done, I'm going to show you on the second rainbow how you can easily use Elmer's glue for this step. Actually, these last few steps, I think Elmer's glue works really well and it holds up really well, and it's actually kind of easier to maneuver the cotton balls and the cotton swabs. So don't hesitate. And if if it's a young child, you're going to want to use the Elmer's glue anyways, and just put them all in place. It works just fine. The only difference is you will need to make sure you set this aside before they hang it up or place it somewhere in your home or in their room so that way it has time to dry. Once you have the clouds on the ends of the rainbow, then just add a couple clouds around on the canvas and glue them in place with the Elmer's glue as well. Then take those cotton swabs, Q-tips, whatever brand you got, and cut off the tips of them. Again, if it's for a young child, cut them off for them. If it's for an older child, I'm sure they can do that. Just make sure they're using good scissors. And we are going to make it look like rain coming from the clouds. So I took some Elmer's glue and put them on the first couple, and I put them in place. But a little tip to make it go quicker is grab something, a little piece of paper. I'm using an old paint tray, and squeeze some glue onto it and have a little pile of glue. It's so much easier, especially if this is going to be a young child. They can dip the Q-tip in it and then put it right on the canvas where they would like it to go. It's just a tip for making it go a little bit quicker. If you have an older child and they would like to use the hot glue, feel free. Then I thought a cute final touch would be to just letting the child add their name and the year. This only cost $6, and that was with buying the colored construction paper. If you already have that, it's even more affordable. And how cute is this? For our next DIY, you're going to use some of these pom-poms that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, but I wanted to show you that if you can't find them at the Dollar Tree, the Dollar General does have them, and they were only $1 there as well. So whatever one you can get. I did use 2 packs. Then you're going to need some Elmer's glue or some form of glue. I will be using my hot glue in this video more because of time than anything. And then you are going to need a can. So just the next time you make a vegetable for dinner, just make sure you wash the can out from the inside out and have it nice and clean. Don't worry about any markings on it because we're going to be covering all that up. And make sure you have a can opener that can cut the top of the lid safely, or buy one of the types of jars that has the pull tab to where there won't be any sharp edges. Do not leave any sharp edges for a child doing this craft. So next I'm going to show you how I just started off using some Elmer's glue and putting it on the bottom of each pom-pom, and then just going around the whole base, putting them in place where I would like them. Again, I switched over to my hot glue gun so that way I would be able to take care of this a little bit quicker for the sake of this video. But definitely whatever is age appropriate for your child or yourself, have them do it. If you do Elmer's glue, I will say you will have to have a little bit more time involved. You will have to let certain sections dry before you can move on to the next section. Just have them fill up the whole jar and have it completely colored in whatever method they want to put their pom-poms on. If they only want certain colors, that's all up to whatever you're willing to get for them. But I wanted mine to be multicolored, so I just used every color that came in my little pom-pom packs. Now, I will say I had a little bit larger of a can here that I used. Mine was from a can of pineapples, and it was one of those oversized cans. So I did end up using 2 full packs of pom-poms, the Dollar Tree brand. If you are using a standard, the smaller size can that green beans or something like that comes in, you probably won't use 2 full packs. So whatever you're willing to pick up for your child in order to make this. And then this is the whole thing covered on the outside. Next, I want to take this upper layer and I do want to have it covered as well. Now, my cans, I do have a can opener that don't leave sharp edges. It's from Pampered Chef. It's just a safety can opener. I love it. I've had it since my kids were little. I've probably had that thing for over 10 years. So it makes sure that the edges are not sharp. I just covered the top of this, not for that, but because I just thought it was cuter to have it covered more. Throw some colored pencils, some markers, something like that in there. Your child will love having this sit on their desk or in their art area for only $2. And for our next DIY, you are going to need a pack of these colored craft sticks. I did pick these up at the Dollar Tree, along with some glue, and whether you want to use E6000, a glue gun, or Elmer's glue, depending upon the age of the child. Now, I am showing 2 packs of craft sticks. You will only need 1, and we won't be using a whole one. So you're going to put out a layer of craft sticks in the length of a craft stick, enough to where you can take one and glue it along the edge, and it covers the whole thing. So have them lay them out in whatever colors they would like, whatever form they want, and then just glue 3 craft sticks in the long ways across the bottom. This is going to hold the bottom to our birdhouse in place. And again, if you are using Elmer's glue, you're going to have to give time for this to dry during steps. If you cannot find the colored craft sticks at your Dollar Tree, they do sell the regular ones as well, and then just have your child have fun painting them. Once it is dry, flip it over, and you're going to put one craft stick around the bottom of the little base. You're creating a base. And you see how you have a little lip here on one end of it between the base of your birdhouse and that first layer? Well, we're going to stick a craft stick right in between there. We're going to stick it in there and we are going to glue that in place. This is going to give somewhere for your bird to stand when it decides it wants to get some food from your little bird feeder here. Did I say birdhouse earlier? It's a bird feeder. So you're going to want to just continue that process, layering it up, going around the whole thing. Put one craft stick down, go around the other edge, put another craft stick down, and layering the whole thing as high as you would or your child would like. Now, the reason I showed E6000 in this project when I didn't show it in my others is if your child is going to want to stick this outside, you're probably going to want to use some E6000, and then you're probably going to want to put some sealant on it. I still don't know how long it'll last, but it'll at least last them a few times to be able to see some birds eat out of it, which I think will be really fun for a child. Then take some twine that you have, tie a double knot on the end of one end, hold it up, kind of see how high you would like your string to be, and then cut it off, and then just double knot the other end and glue both sides of that knot in place on your bird feeder. Make sure you're gluing on the sides opposite of where you have the little stick for the bird to rest on. Make sure you're putting your string on the opposite sides. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about this being a kid-friendly DIY themed video. It is completely different than anything I've done, so I'm curious on what you all are going to think about it. I just know there's a lot of children at home right now due to COVID. There's still some schools not back in session, and there's a lot of homeschool parents out there and some parents that are just choosing to homeschool their kids. Or you may be a grandparent and you babysit, and this is just giving you some good ideas to do even on the weekends. Let me know. I would love to hear your feedback, and if this is something you would enjoy seeing me on from me on a regular basis, even if it was only, say, once a month or so. I would love to know what you think. Once you have your twine on, we are going to glue 2 more layers to the front and back of the bird feeder. And I'm referring to the front and back to be in the same line as where you have the little stick for your bird to rest on. We need a couple more layers here, and you'll see why. We are going to put a glue stick over where the twine was glued. This is just going to keep it more durable. It's going to help this last longer because if your children are like mine, they want to see their stuff in use. They want to see that it lasted a while. So we're just going to put a little dab of glue on the end of each stick and then a little bit on top of where the twine is. And we're going to glue a stick over it, just making it that much more secure. And I just showed you how when you're looking at it from the side, the front and back now looks higher. But it's going to make this perfectly level for you to add another layer. It just worked out perfectly as far as the height. And for a couple dollars, you have a DIY that your child will have loved making and will have loved seeing it in action. You can go get some bird feed at the Dollar General for a couple dollars, and this will just be a blast. And you didn't even use all of those popsicle sticks, so you will be given another DIY that you can use for the rest. But first, we have a DIY with this chalkboard here that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And then just use a couple paints. Let your child pick their favorite colors. You can get lots of these at the Dollar Tree right here. Have them pick out a couple colors if you don't have any at home in your own stock. And then just pick up one of these puzzles, or any puzzle actually. And have them color about 10 to 15, depending upon how many your child wants to put on their chalkboard of each color. So I decided to use two colors. So if you're only going to use one color, you'd want to do all 20 of your puzzle pieces in that one color and just let them have fun with it. Let them color it whatever they want and really enjoy doing this DIY. Then I decided to take the same color I did one of my puzzle pieces in, and that's the color I am going to paint my frame in. And just have them paint their frame as well, or you can leave it the natural color. Depending upon their age, this might be a little bit more complex. And then you're going to see, in order to get the shape of a heart, the two pieces that angle down need to be two pieces with flat edges. Then you're going to need a long, thin puzzle piece that has four sides to where it attaches to be the end to poke up to make it look like a heart. And then you're going to need two curved pieces to the puzzle to go on the edges to just help the heart look. It just helps using this combination of puzzle pieces just helps ensure that it does hold the shape of a heart a little bit better. And then the next two pieces will need to be pieces that have a flat side as well. And we are just going to make the shape of a heart, gluing them all in place. And when you get to the bottom, you will just want to use another one of the long pieces to have it look like the pointy end to our heart. And I think at first I was worried, but I think it ended up actually really looking like a heart. I was really happy with it. Now, if you are doing this with a child that maybe don't want to use a heart, you can do other shapes. I will show you how I did one in a football shape. So that way it would be something that like my son would enjoy. And I used this truffle brown chalk paint and black ink paint that I have. And I just did puzzle pieces in the brown, the truffle paint, and then I did one in the black to make it look like a football. Now, in order to have a football shape, you will need one of the long puzzle pieces for the top. You will need a long puzzle piece for the bottom. And then you really just kind of have to angle out the rest around it. Your child can really just have fun with this step, putting them all in place. And again, this is an easy project that you could definitely use Elmer's glue on to keep your young children safe, and they will still love the end result. And it will be something that they created themselves. You don't get anything better than that. My youngest son really enjoys creating things. So I'm showing you how I do have a little block underneath just to keep it level. If you're doing this with a young child, that will probably definitely make it easier for them if you are using Elmer's glue. So that way the pieces don't slide with there being a tilt on your chalkboard. So this was a super affordable, easy project that I think most kids would just love for only $2. You really can't get a more affordable DIY than that. And I know my girls, when they were young, would have loved sticking this in their bedroom to display. And then if you picked up those craft sticks for the bird feeder, you are still going to have a whole stack of them left over. So we are going to make a picture frame that your child can use in their room to display their favorite picture. You just let them pick whatever colors of the popsicle sticks they would like to use. I decided to go with green and blue with this one. And then just find the popsicle sticks that are the flattest. Try to get the ones that are not bowed so that way they will glue together a lot easier. Now, in order to make this long enough to be able to actually display a picture, you're going to want to make it somewhere between at least 14 and 16 craft sticks in length. Now, this is going to be longer than the length of one craft stick. So you will need your scissors in order to cut a little piece of another craft stick down to the bottom so that way they are all still glued in place. If your child is younger, please make sure you cut the sticks for them. And if they are old enough to cut for themselves, just make sure they are using child appropriate scissors. And then just glue those extra little pieces in place so that way the whole thing is secure. Then take another craft stick and glue it right down the center. This will keep it so that way you definitely know you don't have any gaps and it won't fall apart. Then I'm going to take the piece of the craft stick that I had left over from where I had already cut the two small pieces off, and I am just going to glue it in place where I would like it to be. I am going to set it up so that way I can ensure that I have an angle that I would prefer. And then I'm going to use another piece to a craft stick, and I'm just going to stick it underneath to keep the little base, the prop up portion to the picture frame. So that way it definitely don't fall and it will hold a picture and stay steady for your child. Now, at the Dollar Tree, you can get all kinds of little chip clips. You can get some like you saw there in a donut. You can get these plain red ones. You can get metal ones. I decided to use this red one, and I'm just going to glue it in place. Then let your child have fun with it. If you have stickers, if they want to put their name on it, if you have these little stickers I picked up here at the Dollar Tree and they just want to deck it out a little bit, let your child have fun with how they want to decorate their own picture frame for their room. Dollar Tree has all kinds of stickers. So truly let them, it would be fun just even going and picking out what they're going to want to put on it with them. I think they would really enjoy decking it up themselves. For $3, they now have their own little picture frame that they created that they can display on their desk in their room with all the other creations they already created. So I hope you enjoyed these. Let me know if you're going to do any of them, and you all have a great week. Have a good week, everybody. Bye bye.